I'm Dan Ackerman, and we are here taking a very first look at Apple's brand new MacBook Pro with Retina display. This is kind of a new entry in the Apple laptop line. They've got the Air, they've got the Pro. This is a variation on the Pro, available only for now in the 15-inch size. And of course, it's that Retina display that makes it special. It's got a 2880 by 1800 resolution that is unheard of in laptops, and kind of like on the latest iPhone and on the latest iPad, it makes text and images look very crisp on the screen. If you have an app, like some of Apple's native apps, or like Photoshop from Adobe or some other apps that Mac people use a lot, that's specially set up to work with the higher resolution display, then things are going to look really great on there. Also, it'll be a while before every app is kind of modified or updated in order to work with the new screen. Now, of course, on a Windows laptop, you pretty much top out at 1920 by 1080. The reason why this display works is because it's got a different DPI on the screen, so things actually look the correct size, much like they do on your iPad 3rd generation. Now, besides the big screen, the other big deal about this new system is that it is much thinner and lighter than your typical MacBook Pro. It's got a lot of the DNA of a MacBook Air in it, and I really thought it was almost 50-50 or 60-40, but now that I've got to see it up close and handle it, it definitely leans much more towards the Pro side. It's got these side speakers right here, like you have on a MacBook Pro. It's squared off and slab-like instead of tapered like a MacBook Air. It's actually just about as thick overall as the Air is on the thickest part at the back of the Air, maybe just a hair thicker. It is, however, a little bit heavier than you would expect looking at it and looking at how thin it is. It's about 4.5 pounds. I'd say this is a carry around 2 to 3 times a week sort of laptop. But if you've ever had to lug around a big 15-inch regular MacBook Pro, you know that that's a real arm breaker if you have to do that more than once or twice a week. Now, a lot of things on here are going to seem familiar. They got the same Apple keyboard that everybody likes, backlit, of course, and the big glass touchpad. A lot of Windows systems are coming close with the keyboards, and they're starting to come close with the big clickpad touchpads, but they don't quite have it down yet. A lot of it is the responsiveness of the multi-touch gestures that just nobody else can really seem to nail. Now, under the hood, there's some changes to the MacBook Pro and Air lines that are also reflected here. These all have the new generation of Intel Ivy Bridge CPUs. That's the 3rd generation Core i series. And that includes HD 4000 graphics from Intel. That's the integrated graphics that actually work pretty good. You know, they're not fantastic. Fortunately, you also have an NVIDIA GeForce GT 650 GPU in here, which is great to see a discrete graphics card in something this thin. And of course, it's solid-state memory only, as you'd expect. That's pretty much everything except for the 13 and 15-inch regular Pros. All the other Apple laptops have moved to this solid-state format, which I think, you know, it's just a lot faster. You have fewer moving parts. It does make you do a little more maybe picking and choosing about what you're going to save or store more stuff in the cloud, but that's kind of the point. I think the thing I'm most excited about, besides the dual USB 3.0 ports and the dual Thunderbolt ports, is something I never thought I'd see on an Apple laptop. That's HDMI. I've been asking for this for years. It's finally here. It makes it so much easier to just take this and plug this into a big TV or a projector or a monitor. I know Apple has stayed away from this for years. They finally obviously heard my plaintive cries and added HDMI for everybody. And now, in order to get all this, you're going to have to maybe save up a few pennies, maybe trade in your old MacBook, because it starts at $21.99. That's pretty darn expensive for just a 15-inch laptop with only a 256 gig solid-state drive. You can trade up to a bigger one. Of course, that's going to cost even more. I'm Dan Ackerman, and that is the brand new Apple MacBook Pro with Retina display.